Hello everyone, hope you're all having an amazing day. Now in this video I'll be basically going through our FTMO challenge which we took and we also updated on our Instagram thoroughly throughout the weeks we took it. But basically in this video I'll be basically going through some trade breakdowns that we took on this challenge, as well as some tips and tricks that we can recommend whilst if you are doing your challenge. Now this particular challenge we did was on the 50k account, which is $50,000. On pounds it's 35,000 because GBP is stronger than the US dollar. So if you are confused about that, so I'm just going to get right into it now. On this is the account analysis. So basically after the challenge is done, you'll get account analysis from FTMO, and they'll basically go through all your analytics of your trades and your performance of from when you did the challenge. Now this challenge we completed within I believe 3 weeks. We did finish a little earlier. We started it on the 29th of June, and the end is on the 28th because it gives you the 30-day. Even if you complete earlier, you still have that allotted time. So like for example, today is the 25th of July. If I didn't pass, then I'd still have the 28th of July. So it gives you that 30-day time, even if you don't pass it. So you can have that full time to try to pass your challenge. So I'm just going to quickly be going over. This is the balance curve, so basically equity curve of the trades taken. So you can see not very much drawdown on this trade, but on the challenge, I mean, but we quite comfortably hit our targets. I will be going through all the majority of the trades, but we're just going to quickly go through our statistics. So we hit the result of 10%, which is 3,500. A win rate was 67%, which is almost 70%. Average profit 222. Average loss 76. So small wins, larger wins, small losses, as it should be. So as a positive RR of 2.9, round up say 1 to 3. Max profit 774, and max loss was 205. Now the analytics are a little extra. They do go through in terms of long and short comparison, which isn't really information that we really find useful. I mean, it depends on you as a trader. You can use this information, record it down, especially if you lose a challenge, just so you can understand where you're going wrong and what mistakes you may be making. So this data can be very important, because if you record this data and you can understand where your weaknesses also lies and where your strength lies, and you could basically do less of what doesn't work and more of what does. So that is also very important when it comes to these types of challenges. So this basically goes through the instruments we traded, amount of position we opened, timing. Not very important information for us right now, at least. So let's just scroll all the way down to what we really care about. Okay, so now here, final evaluation. Now I believe when we complete the challenge, we were at 8 trading days. So on the last 2 days, we did 0.01 lot sizes, and you can do that just to make sure you hit your 10 trading days and you qualify for the evaluation stage. So so if you are like a swing trader, or you don't open as many positions like us, then you shouldn't really have any issues with the 10 trading day period. So the max daily loss here says 523, but it says max loss was 163. Now this part is very, very important. So on the FTMO challenge, right, you're allowed 5% like drawdown on your account. Now this part is where a lot of people get confused. So on the FTMO challenge, it is not the recorded 5% closed loss that you have, it's the 5% drawdown. So for example, say if a trade goes against you and you open a position of let's say your stop loss is 30 pips and you've risked about 6%. Now say you've gone above that 6% drawdown, but you haven't lost the trade, but it's gone above that 5% and it's just missed stop loss and it went into profit and it hit your targets, you still lose your FTMO challenge, because the challenge, the daily loss is your drawdown. It's not the recorded actual loss. So you can't go above that drawdown limit of that 5% on a daily basis. So the max loss is 10%. So you definitely can't go on a drawdown of 10%, let alone 5%. So that is very, very important. So that's why you see these two different variants, because the actual recorded loss, the max recorded loss was £163, but the drawdown that we went on a trade is 523. So it wasn't the actual close trade, it was just drawdown. That was the actual close trade, which is 0.5%, and that is 1.5%. So we're in 1.5% drawdown, but the actual recorded loss was 0.5%. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And we hit the profit target of 3,500, which is obviously the 10% target. So here it goes to show where RR really came into play and helped us with this challenge, as our actual drawdown in terms of recorded taken loss was 0.5 and our reward was 10%. So this is where the RR really comes into play and helps you out as a trader. So what I'll be doing now is going into our breakdowns of the trades taken. Now, just so you guys are aware, all trades taken are shared with CPT members. We do go through any of the trades we personally take are shared with the team. So you have that for just transparency. But right, let's get right into it then. Now, the first trade we took was on the 29th, was what we started the challenge with, was on AUD USD. Now, on AUD USD, the trade taken was off this zone here, this congestion zone as we call it. Basically, price pushed down lower on the higher time frames, and we're basically looking for a retest of the zone to carry down with the overall previous trend of the bearish market sentiment, as we were expecting a very weak Australian dollar. So our entry was here, stops just above the previous high, which was about 35 pips, and the target was just at the lows here, about 154 pips. RR of about 1 to 4.3. Now, what actually ended up happening, we ended up closing this trade early, because basically what we saw was price failed to retest or tap into this zone for a final time, and because it pushed down and made that impulsive move, we were expecting price to come up higher. So as soon as we saw that impulsive move, we did close our trade early at about, it was about 2 RR, so about 2% we closed out on this particular position. So it was about 2% we got out, and this was on the first trade we took. So we was happy with that. It didn't hit targets, but we knew when to get out early and wait for our next most probable position. So the best thing I recommend when taking FTMO is have the psychology of, you don't need to pass the trade, like you don't need to pass your challenge right away. You have a whole month to pass the challenge. Take your time. The best thing to do is don't take 100 trades, don't take 50 trades. Limit yourself down. Try to only look to take 5 to 10 trades overall. That will purposely force you to look for the most high probable setups, right? Because that's what we want to look for. We want to look for the setups that give us the highest chance, the highest probability of winning, of playing out. So that allows you to be a lot more patient, because remember, when you take your FTMO challenge, you have time. The challenge only starts when you place your first trade. So you don't be into this idea that you need to start right away, because we bought the challenge, I believe on the 18th of June, on the 20th of June if I'm mistaken, and then we started it on the 29th, which is 10 days away. So don't be in a rush. Take your time. Make sure you're ready psychologically, which is much more important. And remember, you're looking for the most high probable setups. So when you're looking for the most high probable setups, you have to have an understanding of having a weekly target of 2.5% a week, which isn't much at all. If you hit 2.5% a week, you will hit your target easily. You'll cruise through it, because 2.5% a week will hit that 10% in a month. So, and that's the same psychology we had with this challenge. Even though we did it a lot earlier, but the psychology was there, and it allowed us to be much more patient and allowed us to complete the challenge with ease. So this was the first trade now, and this was in the first week, of course. So we were expecting that price to come back and tap into the zone. But that was the first trade, along with AUD USD, which was the second trade. Sorry, hold on. Let's go back a bit. Right. So AUD JPY was the first one. AUD. So you guys can obviously see that these same trades we took played out, because we were looking to take advantage of the AUD weakness, and the same thing happened. We had a larger stop loss here because we weren't anticipating a retest of this zone, but because of the increased market sentiment, we were expecting an impulsive move, and we did see it. So we were able to, after these lows were cleared here, we were expecting price to make a new low, and as soon as we saw that new low, that's when we looked to close out our positions. About 2.5% we got out. So within the first week, so this is the first week trade, we only took 2 trades within that first week, which was AUD JPY and AUD USD. So about 2% and then another 2.5%. So we had easily cleared about 4.5% within our first weeks, only taking 2 trades. So remember, we had that psychology of 2.5% a week, and within the first week we almost hit our half of what our profit target is, with no drawdown whatsoever. So in terms of no losses taken, just those 2 trades. So that's the first number one rule I want you guys to have in place. Have that psychology in place of 2.5% a week. Have that rule, and you'll easily cruise through your challenges with any funding prop firm. So let's go into the second week. Now in the second week, we were still looking at these 2 positions, AUD and AUD JPY. So because remember, we understood the market sentiment, and we were waiting for that retest of this zone. So this trade is now closed and done with, so we can get rid of that. So once we knew that, now we were just waiting. We were just waiting for a tap into this zone. And what ended up happening is price came up. And right there, let's go back a little bit. Right there, we entered after we saw on lower time frames, we saw a clear push, tapped into our zone, mitigate our zone. So we knew price was now, it was a much probable zone of price pushing lower. Now what I was ideally waiting for is a congestion in price, or price moving sideways, showing me that it's ready to move down lower, and on lower time frame we could scope down and look for those lower time frame entries. But this is where we entered, and this is where we took the sell position. It's also is where we shared it with our team, as you can see. AUD JPY, AUD USD, those are the first ones. If we scroll down lower, you can see what was the date. It was the 6th of July. Let's scroll down to the 6th. So as you can see, AUD JPY and AUD USD trades were taken and shared with our members just for full transparency, so you guys can see. So we took about 2 positions this morning. First is on AUD USD. We're running in about I think 30 pips profit. Very clean entry taken today. The second position we took was on AUD JPY. Now remember, all trades are shared that we personally enter are shared with our private members. But both of these trades are running on the FTMO account, just little under 1% profit. The FTMO challenge is currently running. We're a little over 5% on the total account. I've only traded on this account for about 3 days, a little over a week in terms of how long this challenge has been. But trading days, only 3 days. And I will keep you guys updated as we end the week on the second week of this challenge. As soon as we saw that confirmation, we took those sells. along with the team, and we cleared. Now, for this particular trade, it hit 5.5 RR. Let's go on to AUDJPY. Secondly, remember I said we're waiting for that retest because this failed. Even though we secured profit, we were still expecting that larger move. And what did it do? It came up, tapped in, and then on lower time frames, we basically scoped down, and we found that entry with stops just above our previous high, because now this zone has fully been mitigated. So now price has no reason to push up higher. So the probable push was to the downside, and this was about 4.7 RR. So about 1.5 RR again. Now, unfortunately, we did have news coming in because these trades were taken on Tuesday, and we had news on Thursday. So price started moving sideways. So what we end up doing is we end up closing early because we had FOMC news, and just to be on the safe side, I did close early. So I believe this position was closed about 3 RR, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was 3 RR. So we end up closing this one early. The same goes with AU. So I think AU was around this region was where we closed out. So about 4%, I believe. It may have been less, if I recall, because we had FOMC news. So just to be on the safe side, I did want to close, and I was away from my. I was going to be away from my screens at the time too, because from what I remember, it was 7 o'clock. So we did end up closing that early. And the unfortunate thing is, if we had held to on the FTMO account at least, it would have easily hit our 10% challenge just within taking those four positions on these two pairs alone within I believe within two weeks of trading. So having about 2 trading days, 2 weeks of the challenge, we would have easily passed. But just to be on the safe side, I did secure profit because it was a challenge, but that's completely fine. It is what it is. You move on with it because the psychology was still in place. We still had that target of 2.5% a week, and with these closing early, I believe we were at 8% within the second week, and I did update this on my Instagram. If there's a screenshot, I'll leave it here so you guys can see. Now week 2 is completed. We were on about 8%. Then we were coming on to week 3. Now week 3 was a weird week because we were expecting very choppy conditions. Now this is our trade we took on Monday, and which is also our first loss we took on the FTMO challenge. Now because of the choppy conditions, as you can see here, with price action just basically consolidating, I didn't want to risk the 1%. I was very hesitant just because we were with the trend and it being Monday and choppy conditions. So we used about 0.5% risk, and we end up closing early because price failed to make a new high. So when we saw that push down, end up closing early about 15 pips. So the loss was about 0.25%, which was minor because we end up closing early. If we had closed our original SL, which was 26 pips, it would have been a 0.5%. But because we closed early at the 15 pip region, we were able to minimize our losses, which is exactly what you want to do. Even though this wasn't a high probability trade, we knew that we were very much ahead, and I was comfortable with taking that risk on because we were, like I said before, we were very much ahead entering the third week. So with that 0.25% loss taken, now I was more adamant. Now I was back to not taking many trades because I understood that with the choppy conditions, I need to be very, very careful. So I didn't really take many other trades, and I waited. And luckily that finally paid off because this trade came in on, I believe it was 15th. I believe, it was later on in the week. It was a Thursday evening. And it was, it was Thursday evening. It was later on after late New York session, which we don't really trade. But we were watching this pair all day, and it finally came into fruition because as you can see, the markets were very, very slow this week. So what we did was, this was more of an intraday trade, and we had about I believe we needed about, with the loss, we needed about 2% or 2.5%. So I'll round it up. I'll say 3% profit needed, and this was the perfect trade we were looking for. So this was trade basically based off market structure. We understood price was trending down, even with the choppy conditions. I wanted to be safe, and that's why I scoped down to the lower time frames, and this is where we took the trade. As we saw this clean order flow, and you saw push down from this red zone, we understood the most probable play was the short to push down to make new lows. Now I was expecting much price to break this low, but I knew because of the choppy conditions there's a very likely chance the price could just come back up here before pushing down, which actually is what ended up happening. So, but funny enough, we didn't need to do that. So if I'm going to explain now in a second, what ended up happening is price came back, broke structure, and then came back to retest our zone, and is where I took two entries. Now the first entry I took was with a larger stop loss, which was about a 1 to the fall was about 1 to 3, right? But because we closed early, it would have been a 1 to 1.7. And the second is which basically helped us pass the challenge, as this is the final trade, is 1 to 4.3 RR. Now for this total, we risked about 1%, so 0.5% on the large SL and 0.5% on the small SL, just to split our risk in order to mitigate our position, because we did, I believe there was another trade before this one that we took earlier in the week, which was on CHF JPY, and we took about 0.5% a loss on that. So we were down, and we needed that 3% from what I recall, and this is what basically helped us. So with that fall, push down, price pushed, I believe price hit this region here, and then we hit our 10% target, and as soon as it hit, I closed the positions right away. I didn't want to wait. I did not want to wait whatsoever, because you have to remember, as soon as you hit your challenge, don't wait, don't be greedy. It's a challenge. It's not real. It's not real money. This is just to get you to the next stage. So as soon as it hits your challenge, don't be greedy. Close out and move on. You have to be cold and methodic and trade with your plan. So as soon as it hit, it closed out, and good thing it did, because look what price did straight after. Right, look, it spikes right back up this is what happens during these choppy conditions. Price does these unreasonable things, and because of that, and because we knew that sentiment was very adamant in the market, we closed out on that 10%, and we took the profits. And this is the third week. I'll leave a screenshot of this trade right here. So yeah, so from that you can see we hit the final percentage, and we hit at that point we hit the 10% target, which was on the 20. What day was it? Does it say? 1 second. No, unfortunately, it doesn't say what day you passed it on. It should say it here somewhere. Okay, well, if it doesn't, let's just check at the bottom real quick. No, unfortunately, it doesn't say the day, but nonetheless, that was the last trade we took to pass the challenge. So basically, that's what we basically used. So we took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we took about 9 trades. Six were winners. 3 were losers. But nonetheless, we minimize our losses, and we maximize on our winners. And as you guys remember, we would have we would have hit our targets comfortably if we just held these two positions, but I closed early just because of news. And you guys have to remember, on FTMO you can't hold on the live accounts, you can't hold during news. So just to be comfortable with that, I did want to close anyway, because once you are funded, you can't hold during news conditions. They won't allow it, and I believe they will issue a warning, and if you do it again, they take your account away from you. So for that reason, you have to keep that in mind and try to stick to those rules when you're doing your challenge. It'll make it easier when you do, or if you do become funded. So I hope this video, if you found this video useful, if you have any questions, message us on the comment section below. We will be replying to everyone's questions, and also give us more ideas about content you guys want to see, because in the future I will be uploading more videos on our YouTube channel, and we want more ideas or content you guys want to see from us. We may be thinking we may carry on with this FTMO challenge, do another challenge where we can potentially get the full funding, which I believe is 400k. So if you guys want to see something like that, or if you guys want to see us do other challenges of other prop trading firms, because we don't really use prop firms because we have our own capital. But if you guys do want us to do reviews or challenges on other platforms, just let us know in the comment section, and also let us know which platforms you'd like us to do these challenges on. I do hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up. Also guys, if you want to know more about the services we offer, just hit one of the links down below, take you to our public Telegram group where we offer our results from yearly, quarterly, as well as sometimes weekly, as well as we also send out free analysis and trades from time to time as well. And guys, please give us a follow on our Instagram, where we upload a lot of content, a lot of free content as well in terms of educational. So if you guys do find that or are interested in that, feel free to give that a follow. So on that note, we wish you all a good evening, and we'll be seeing you guys later. Bye bye.